Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today we're putting the focus on the absolute most important instrument in the entire therapy room, you. Welcome everyone. As we dig into the theory and practice of couples and family counseling today, I want you to really step fully into the shoes of a clinical trainee. You know, in our field, we spend so much time obsessing over complex techniques, grand theories, and these highly specific interventions. But today, we're going to look inward. We're exploring how your own personal development, your unique history, and your actual physical presence in the room form the true foundation of your clinical practice. Because at the end of the day, you are the tool that facilitates change.
Here's our roadmap for the day. First, we'll look at the therapist as an instrument. Then, mapping your family baggage. Third, centering and managing countertransference. Fourth, linear versus circular causality. Fifth, we'll analyze a systemic session together. And finally, number 6, we'll build your therapeutic presence checklist.
All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, the therapist as an instrument.
I want to ground us right off the bat with this seriously powerful quote from family therapy pioneer Virginia Satir. She said, if she walked into a room with 12 people in it, she would meet everyone she ever knew. Think about that for a second. Satir completely understood that we instinctively project our own past onto our new clients. In family practice, you simply cannot separate the person from the professional. Every single family you meet has the potential to trigger your hidden memories, your unfinished business, and your unmet needs. I mean, a mother who avoids eye contact might suddenly remind you of your own dismissive aunt, or a rebellious teenager might mirror your younger sibling. These connections, they are automatic and they run deep.
So pause for a second and ask yourself, when you walk into that room, whose baggage are you actually lugging in with you? Seriously, consider how your own personality acts as your primary clinical instrument. This isn't just some abstract philosophical thought experiment. It is an urgent clinical reality. Because listen, if you aren't actively aware of your own family issues, you're going to end up unconsciously trying to fix your own parents or siblings when you should be focusing on the client sitting right in front of you. It's such a classic rookie mistake to believe you are this perfectly neutral, completely objective blank slate. You aren't.
Moving on to Section 2, mapping your family baggage.
To really understand this, think about creating a wheel of influence. Imagine putting yourself right in the center of a page and drawing spokes outward to all the significant figures from your past, your parents, your grandparents, old mentors, and then attach adjectives to them. Maybe one was patient, another depressed, or resourceful. Building a structural map like this of at least 3 generations of your family using a genogram and a wheel of influence is not just a busy homework assignment. It is an absolutely essential clinical safeguard. It visually exposes your emotional ties and helps you figure out exactly what pushes your buttons. Honestly, skipping this deep self-exploration is a massive trap, usually because we assume we've already dealt with our past. But when you physically map it out, you uncover relational connections and hidden triggers you've completely internalized without even realizing it. Getting this out of your head and onto paper is the very first step toward genuine self-differentiation.
Okay, Section 3, centering and managing countertransference.
So what happens when we ignore all that family history? Well, it directly leads to countertransference. That's the emotional reactivity and automatic responding triggered by unaddressed issues from your own family of origin. Basically, it means you end up emotionally reacting to your own past rather than actually treating the family sitting right there. Imagine a scenario: a client raises their voice in frustration, and it unconsciously reminds you of an angry parent. Your automatic response might be to completely shut down, withdraw, or maybe you get rigidly defensive. That reaction lacks any real authenticity, and it certainly isn't helpful to the family, right? Because you're reacting to a ghost in the room, not the client in crisis. In that moment, you have entirely lost your therapeutic posture.
To prevent this from happening, we apply Virginia Satir's centering process. Before you meet any family, you should practice this exact method to clear your projections. Step 1. Take a moment to slow your heart rate and center your breathing. Just anchor yourself physically in the room. Step 2. Take a mental picture of the actual clients in front of you, consciously placing them on the blank screen of your mind. And Step 3. Carefully notice if any figures from your own past start creeping onto that screen and consciously clear them away. Literally, sweep the screen clean. This deliberate step-by-step process is exactly how you achieve genuine therapeutic presence. It stops the ghosts from crashing your session, and it lets you view your clients with unclouded fascination and true empathy. Let's move to Section 4, linear versus circular causality.
This is where we need a massive paradigm shift. You have to move away from linear finger-pointing and start seeing the recursive circular web of family dynamics. This is literally one of the most vital insights you've got to master. Individual counseling often looks at things in a straight line, like event A caused depression B. But when a complex family system walks into your room, thinking linearly is just going to trap you in a futile cycle of blame. You'll catch yourself thinking, well, if only the dad stopped drinking, the whole family would be fine. That is linear. Instead, you must train your brain to see circular causality. Person A influences B, which influences C, which circles right back around to influence A. They are acting on and affecting each other in a continuous interlocking loop. Everyone is participating in the pattern.
To really get a grip on these loops, we turn to cybernetics. It teaches us that a family's interactions basically do one of two things: maintain the status quo or initiate change. A positive feedback loop is one that introduces correcting information and sparks that change. Now, be incredibly careful with the terminology here. In systems theory, the word positive does not mean happy, healthy, or morally good. Not at all. It purely means the loop promotes a shift in the system. It introduces a deviation from the norm, regardless of whether that event feels incredibly painful, joyful, or completely chaotic in the moment. It just means the system is moving away from its old baseline.
All right, Section 5. Analyzing a systemic session. Let's see this in action.
Let's break down a pretty chaotic clinical scenario to see how this actually works. On day 1, an adolescent acts out by using cocaine and gets arrested. Day 2, the father immediately throws his hands up, declares he can't handle this crazy family, and leaves the home. Now, obviously, this feels terrible, frightening, and totally chaotic for everyone involved. But systemically, this is actually a positive feedback loop. Why? Because the old system is completely broken. Those previous enmeshed or distant patterns are totally shattered. By day 3, the mother and son are forced to cope on their own, which forges new boundaries and initiates a profound change in the family structure. As a systemic practitioner, you need the presence of mind to step back from the intense emotional chaos of the room, avoid taking sides, and identify these underlying transactional patterns. You aren't there to judge the chaos, you know? You're there to map it out.
Finally, Section 6, your therapeutic presence checklist. The foundation of our checklist is built on Dr. James Robert Bitter's PACE framework, P-A-C-E. It stands for purpose, knowing exactly why you're in the room and what your clinical goals are. Awareness, staying deeply attuned to yourself and the clients in real time. Contact, making genuine, grounded relational connections. And experience, leaning completely into the shared, unfolding moment. Paying attention to these 4 functional aspects gives you the structure you need to support real clinical creativity. It's your anchor. It lets you find expressions that flow genuinely from the heart, keeping you fully engaged, observant, and actually energized as a practitioner, rather than just totally burned out by the end of the day.
So here is your concrete checklist to review before every single session. 1. Clear your mind screen to stay fully present. Evict those ghosts. 2. Use that PACE framework to guide your rhythm. 3. Actively replace the world's natural critical judgment with genuine acceptance and deep caring. 4. Be assertive, set clear boundaries, but never get defensive with a family. 5. Don't rush in to fix things right away. Learn to tolerate the quiet, awkward times so you can actually observe those systemic loops in action. And finally, number 6, cultivate what Adlerians call the courage to be imperfect. Listen, if you're going to be an effective family therapist, you are absolutely going to make mistakes. You'll misread a dynamic or phrase something poorly. Embracing that reality frees you up to take necessary clinical risks, and, most importantly, it lets you be authentically human in the room.
I want to leave you with this provocative thought to chew on. If your own personality is your primary clinical instrument for change, how finely tuned are you right now? Becoming a professional family practitioner isn't just about absorbing textbooks. It means choosing to work on yourself as a person endlessly. You are the instrument, so you've got to do the work. Do your genograms, map out your triggers, differentiate yourself. Because the clearer and more grounded you are, the more profoundly you can help the complex, beautiful families sitting right in front of you. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this gives you a sharp, focused, new lens to bring into your clinical practice.